Hello everyone and welcome to a speed build, and I'm excited about the speed build. This is a starter house and it is my first starter house for my save file that I have just started, my very first ever save file. So yeah, I'm excited to get into it. I can't I can't wait to build a save file and create my whole Velvet galaxy. And so yeah, and this will be a quick one because it is a starter home, so it's not going to be too complex, but it is a starter home for a family of 3. So this is for my Tycoon family. So the Tycoon family are a mum and her twin children. So originally Zoe, who is the mum, she was raised in a rich family, and so she had a bit of a interesting childhood, and she's a bit of a wild child as well. She ended up falling in love with someone, and they had a brief night together, and she got pregnant with the twins, but unfortunately he was off and away on an archaeological dig that he got offered when she found out about the twins. So she, the dad, she's never been able to contact about the kids, and yeah, so she's a single mum at this point in time. And right before her father died, he got scammed out of some money. Bess might have been to blame for that. And so they had enough money left over to move into this house. Unfortunately, the father passed away, and so it's just her and the two kids. So I'm building this as a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom starter home. So it's actually a really big starter home. But I actually managed to bring it in on budget, just. And yeah, I think I got all the basics in there, and there's plenty of room to grow. I mean, as I said, it's a starter home, so you know you're gonna have all the basics there to start with, and then add things as you go along the way. And I'm excited to play these guys. I think they're going to have a fun storyline, and the father will come into it at some point. That's my plan. But for now, I am just getting all the characters and the world set up, and you know, that's exciting on its own because I love to build, and I'm really beginning to get into CAS. It's something that I haven't spent as much time as I probably should have with gameplay, but I'm really starting to love it, and just coming up with stories and stuff for characters, and yeah, having some fun with it all. So I'm building the kitchen here at this stage, and the whole idea of this particular build is that it's going to be like a bit run down, like, you know, they've lost their money, so things are kind of worn out, second hand, you know, that sort of vibe is what I'm going for with this. So there's going to be sort of like a bit of a mix and match with some of the furniture and stuff, different shades of the wood, and some of the stuff is a bit worn and stuff. So yeah, I think it actually ended up looking really, really good. So I'm just working on the kitchen and dining area at the moment. So it's the horse ranch counters and the city living fridge and oven, I believe. So those are the used ones. And also I think there's an eco living hall table, and I think the mega basic table from base game, and the chairs I think might be cats and dogs off the top of my head. And I use the snowy escape bin, I think, because I always use that bin because I love it. So I'm using the Basement Treasures coffee table, I think, there, because it's sort of got that worn down look, and I thought that was kind of perfect. And I will spend a bit of time fussing around with this darn kitchen because I just I wanted more, but I just could not get what I wanted as far as like colors and layout, and yeah, it took me a lot of fussing around just to work out how my kitchen and going into my living, so it's a combined kitchen, dining, living area, so it's all sort of open, and that is the werewolf couch, I think. I'm not too sure, I can't remember what coffee table that is. It might be eco living, I'm not sure. And then I use the think it's the Basement Treasures TV as well. So it's like a retro TV. So I'm just starting to work on colours and stuff as to how it's all going to look in the end. And I was just sort of playing with the idea of like something that looked a little bit more worn out on the walls. So I'm using, I think in the end, the Parenthood, so in the grey, because I thought, well, you know, it's probably going to be pretty basic as far as wallpaper and stuff goes. It's not going to be fancy. They've bought this sort of slightly run down home to live in as a family, and they haven't had a lot of money to upgrade it and make it look better. So I thought keeping it as maybe like a former rental house or something like that might be, you know, that kind of made sense for the story. So just working through what I want to do in this little living area. I was initially going to do a book nook, but it was just too expensive. By the time you sort of bought like a few bookcases and stuff, I was kind of like, no, that's a bit too much. I was initially going to go with like quite a bit of the werewolf stuff and like the werewolf desk there, but I thought, well, you know what, it's not everything has to be run down. It can just, like, you know, be cheap stuff as well. So I opted to not go with the werewolf desk there. That's the Eco Living, I think, chair that's going in the corner. And then I'm just working on what I'm going to do with the bathroom tiles and the bathroom colours there. So I wanted to stick with the brown, and then I was just sort of wanting to have something that wasn't like, you know, super pristine looking, kind of like a little bit more rough looking on the floor. And I thought those tiles ended up looking really good for that. But for some reason I kind of went quite fancy on the bathrooms. Like, I mean, not fancy, but I actually did a lot more in the bathrooms than I normally do, particularly for a starter house. Like, I built like a proper like walk-in shower for this. I just felt like it worked. So I'm just working on what I want to do with the doors and the windows. So I did like just basic windows and doors and the see-through glass door for that, and then that's the Snowy Escape shower, and just mixing it up with a bit of stone in the shower cubicle as well. And I think, oh yeah, that's Jungle Living flooring. So yeah, just sort of made it like a walk-in shower. So you've got your towel and your robe in there and a mirror and like all your shower stuff. But that's something a little bit different. I don't do this sort of thing that often, so I don't know, I just was in the mood to do a fancy little starter bathroom without spending too much money on it, because obviously it's still a starter house and I only had 20-odd thousand to spend on this. So just working on, I was looking at the stained floor and whether or not I wanted to do a stained floor. I'm like, well, you know, you can have money and be clean. So you don't necessarily need to have a stained floor. This is not a limited pack build. I just sort of, because it's for my save file, I did just use whatever for it. More often than not with starter homes, I will do these limited pack, but in this case, because it is for my save file that I'm gonna hopefully get, like, you know, years of play out of, yeah, I just used what I had, so that's what I did. So going into the second bathroom, you can see there it's all coming together with pops of blue and like a little towel rail and just the basics really in the bathroom. Then I'm just going through to the bedrooms and sorting out what I want to do with the bedrooms. So with the characters that I made, so we've got a boy and a girl and the mum. And so the boy is kind of quite sporty, into popularity. He wears like a lot of yellow and bright colours, yellow and white and black and bright colours like that. So he's got quite a joyous sort of personality. And then the girl is more studious, so she's a bit more of a bookworm. She's quieter, and she has like a bit of a purple theme. And the mum is, she's actually quite stylish because, you know, as I mentioned, she grew up rich, so she has a stylish sort of vibe about her. And the thing is, with her having the kids, she learned to put the kids first. So the kids all tend to have more stuff than her. So she's got like a sort of a grey room and like a used futon, and she'll have like a crate for a bedside table. So she's put some money into the kids first, so she won't ever spend much money on herself if she can provide the kids with something for themselves. So the kids like have an activity table, there's a bookshelf and an actual shelf there as well in the son's room. And so like she's got like a worn down rug and, you know, stuff like that. So, you know, she doesn't have much in the way of things because, yeah, so it's more important to her that the kids have things. So that's the story behind why the rooms look the way they do. So the kids' rooms are a little bit fancy. I mean, there's not lots of stuff in there, simply because, you know, it's a starter house. I'm not going to have lots of stuff. But, yeah, the mum's room is pretty sparse, and that's the reason why. And I decided to just keep with a grey sort of theme on the walls, because, again, I sort of felt like if it was an ex-rental house, that they wouldn't have done much with the walls. It would have just sort of been the same throughout, and sticking to the basic sort of colour things that were easy to take care of with a rental property. So I actually was able to afford some decent windows and some curtains. I mean, they are the cheapest curtains in the game, but nonetheless, curtains. So that's nice in a starter home. I hardly ever get to put curtains in a starter home. More often than not, because as I said, I do limited packs, so I don't often have some of the cheap options to work with. And yeah, so it's just a matter of choosing the colours. Obviously the colour palette was limited with these curtains, so, you know, I had a bit of a play around with what colours I wanted to do, but just ended up going quite plain on those. But the curtains in the mum's room did have a pattern, so they added a bit more life, I think, to her bedroom, which was nice. What are we doing now? So we are doing windows, just putting some windows into the bathroom. So I think they're the cottage living windows, little square ones, and putting the curtains into the dining area as well. So just working on what I want to do color wise there. And then windows into the kitchen as well. So I was just working out what I wanted to do as far as the blind goes, because the curtains weren't going to work in the kitchen. There wasn't anything that was going to fit and be short enough. So I went with the First Pet stuff, whatever it is, pack. And I was trying to get like this cool kitchen stuff in here, but it just ended up being like a bit expensive, so I had to delete some of that, unfortunately. It was just like, I really want it, but it's too pricey, so I wasn't allowed to keep all of my cool kitchen stuff, things that I wanted to keep, but that's okay. That's the things that happen in a starter home, I guess. So I just put in the Eco Living cheap shelving. I didn't have anything that I could put on the shelving, but it's there for them to use when they like. And I was working on the kitchen tiling as well, because I wanted something that would sort of fit with the house, but had, you know, like a bit of a splashback on it, as you do in a kitchen. So I ended up going with that one from Jungle Adventures. Jungle Adventure? I always call it Jungle Living. I call everything living. Like Snowy Living, Jungle Living. I just forget the names of everything. So then I'm just doing like a little entertainment nook, well, a little book nook, sort of comfy, cozy kind of area there. And I was looking for like some cheap paintings. I ended up going with the Basement Treasures paintings or pictures up there. I don't get to keep everything here. I do have to delete a few things so I can get a bit of landscaping in. But most things do end up staying, so, you know, I think I did pretty well with balancing the cost of things, because I'm down to 300 simoleons now. So yeah, I'm getting to the point where I'm like, what can I afford? What can't I afford? Unfortunately, I don't get to keep the easel. I just put some pretty shelving into the bathroom, but that was Eco Living shelving and it's super cheap, so I thought, well, I can get away with that. And then there's like a little board that I put in behind the study, so I thought that would work. I was going to delete the little book nook thing, but it wasn't very expensive, so it's like, well, you know, if I delete the easel, I'll get way more money. So even though the easel is probably more useful, you can make more money from it, but was more expensive, and that's the dresser going in the kids' room, because yeah, couldn't afford a dresser either. So that just sort of gave me enough money to work with landscaping. So it's just under $1,000 for landscaping, but I was able to do something with that, you know, with expanding the flowers. And this from Horse Ranch. I think it's the Canyon flowers. They don't have a colour range, unfortunately, but it is what it is. And I was actually able to group that off with a bit of fencing, which is, you know, kind of expensive, but I think it made the property look a lot tidier and prettier. And I didn't need too much landscaping, I think, so that kind of worked. And then in the corner, I'm going to put in a couple of trees, so I'm just working on what option will be best. So one in the back, one in the front, and I did not put a bit in the outside. I'm currently remembering, but I did get a couple of chairs out on the front porch, and they're just the werewolf chairs. So they're a little bit run down, like they've been sitting out in the sun for too long, but I think they work. So let's take a tour of what we've just built. So as you can see, it's all sort of in the grey and the white, so pretty plain colours, but I think it's cheerful enough because, you know, there's a pop of colour with the flowers around the front and the yellow, and I think it's actually quite a nice size build for like growing a family with. I mean, there's like plenty of room on the back porch, there's some grass and stuff, so you can put like playthings down for the kids, or a pool if you want to. Yeah, I think it looks really, actually quite stylish for a starter house, and quite large, so I'm really happy with how this came out. I really like that there's a way to upgrade this, but it is sort of on point and on story for these characters. Like, you know, they've come from rich and they've sort of had to size down quite considerably with their lifestyle, and you know, they're adjusting nicely. So they've sort of got second-hand furniture, second-hand couches, as you can see there, but they might still have, you know, the odd bits and pieces that they might have saved from their former life. Paintings on the wall, and I really like that tiling for the kitchen. It's not one that I've actually used a lot, but I like that there's like a design and stuff on the back of the splashback. And so there's like a family board and behind the computer, which I think makes sense, and like a cheap TV. I do like that TV for like cheap houses. I think it's yeah, I think it's good. I like it. So, and it's all sort of really functional. So there's like a little breakfast bar, there's dining area, there's like a living area. It's like, it kind of looks lived in, and like there's stuff for them to do. It's not like an empty starter house with just a few pieces because we've spent too much on fancy things. I have not spent too much on fancy things. So this is a kid's room, so this is the son's room, and so this is have bright yellow because that's his sort of personality, and I think there's some cute stuff there, and you know, they've got some activity tables and books and some toys, so you know what, the kids should be pretty happy. Going through to the mum's room, so hers is a bit more worn down looking. So you've got the used futon, the crate side table, and the worn rug. Going through to bathroom number 2. So this is more the ensuite for the mum's room and the kid, one of the daughter's room. So you've got the bath and the toilet and the sink there. Then going through the daughter's room, so she's got like a little table for studying, a bedside table, which really needs a night light on it, and like an activity table as well, so she can sort of study in there and have a bit of fun. And then going through to the second bathroom, which just way too fancy for a starter house, but I don't care. Why can't you have a nice little feature in a starter house? That's what I say. It's something that you can really enjoy as a person in a starter house. So this is what this bathroom is, like a real nice focal point. So you've got like some furniture in there, the toilet brush, and the walk-in shower with the little accessories in there, the mirror, the towel, and the robe, and there we go. So that's the floor layout there. So you can sort of see that how that's all laid out easily enough. So kitchen, dining, living all in one space, bathroom 1, bathroom 2, and the 2 kids' bedrooms with the master bedroom in the middle there. And that's our build. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you join me for more. Thank you. Bye.